Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Valecast. My name is Simo. Today I'm joined by Callum. Say hello, Callum.
Hello, Simo. It's good to see you again.
As always, mate, it's good to see you. I'm glad we're back. I've got a lot to talk about this weekend. But before we do, I just want to let you know that this show is brought to you every single week by our partners, Motive. So thanks very much for them to bring you a show every week. And just to report before we go and talk on to our preview and our review of our Scottish Cup round, about 100 people every week tune into Valecast, which is fantastic. To have that amount of people watching our show that's just been born recently, and we really do appreciate it. At the time of recording here, we're just two YouTube subscribers off 70, so if someone could help us get there, that would be a great wee milestone for us. So thanks very much, and make sure you like the video as well. It really does help support our show and help support some commercial opportunities for the club as well. But Cal, I want to go and talk about our fixture when we played Haddington Athletic at home. And a very dramatic match with a last minute equaliser to keep us in the cup. What were your thoughts in the match?
What a game. What a game. Just, I think no greater advert for Scottish football, I don't think, really, than that game last weekend. Yeah, it had everything, really. Obviously going a goal behind early doors from the penalty spot. I would say, kind of big up to the guys at Haddington. They put in an absolute power of a shift, and looking on from the sidelines, I think we're probably just shading it in the first half in terms of chances. They hit the post from a good run as well, which you see in the highlights that went out, and it really came on and gave us a hell of a great game. Second half, whatever Craig and Mo said at half time certainly worked the trick, and the boys came out second half just all guns blazing. We had post, we had bar, we had everything. Got the goal back from Dane after some good kind of layoff. I think it was James Connolly that kind of laid it into Dane's path, and he was able to swivel and pop it back into the back of the net. So got the momentum from that. Haddington then went up and took the lead again with a ball that went through. Took a touch off of the head of the defender and just landed perfectly for their striker to loop a header over Sean in the sticks. So at that stage, you're starting to fear the worst. I mean, we were throwing everything at it. The support that the boys had was just phenomenal on the day. As it is every week and every day. But the Vale fans played such a massive part in getting the boys up. We threw Innes up front with 5 minutes to go or so, obviously chasing that equaliser, and it came in the 92nd, 93rd minute from young Jimmy Tinnock. So absolute scenes at the end, and my heart was just about back to normal, I think, when I was driving back to Aberdeen. So fantastic game. I say the determination from the boys to come back again. That's however many games now that we've been fighting back, and they've done it again. So really, high praise across the team. I don't think anybody had a bad day. I think each of those guys in the red shirt is definitely did themselves justice and can come out of that game feeling proud of their efforts. It's obviously a job half done. We got into the hat for the second round, so we know what we'll face up to if we can dispose of Haddington this weekend. But that's another tough game. I think that's what we're looking ahead to. A long trip down the road, and hopefully that bus journey back up to Banff afterwards is going to have a good party atmosphere to it. So as I say, massive praise to the boys, to the fans that were there. Really, I think they kind of sucked the ball into the net as well, to be honest with you, in the 93rd minute. So couldn't have asked for a better cup game, in all honesty. It had just about everything.
Yeah, it was fantastic news to see us get at least the replay. I watched the extended highlights. I obviously wasn't able to make the game. I don't believe that was a penalty. I think that's very soft for the Highland League. That's a soft pen.
Yes, I mean,
I watched it back a few. I watched it back a few times, and that's a soft old pen for the Highland for in the Highland League. I know we're in the Scottish Cup. It's a Scottish Cup fixture, but up in our stomping ground, that's a wee bit soft.
No, I mean, I had a right good view of it as well. I was just behind the goals at that point in time, so Yeah, I mean, it's maybe a bit of a coming together rather than an attempted foul or anything like that. But I think once the striker got the other side of Innes, I think it was, as I say, if it happened up the other end, we'd been screaming for a penalty. So you get some decisions, some go against you, maybe a little bit hard done by, but yeah, I think a penalty is maybe. For me, it was the right decision. I'll say that might not be the popular opinion, but
How very unbiased of you.
I know. I try. I do try, but yeah, as I say, if it had been the other way around, I think we would have been absolutely howling for a penalty there. So hopefully, it'll even itself out this weekend.
Hopefully, I think we'll do a couple of ref decisions. I think been unfortunate in a couple of cases this season. I think. It's good that we've stayed in the fixture. We've also got our away day, and I think judging by the highlights and the amount of attendance from Haddington, and they were a great club. They're a great.
Yeah,
we seem to have a decent relationship and a good competitive sort of spirit with them. They were, from what I understand, they were nothing but gents when coming up to Princess Royal Park, and we greatly appreciate how well they represented their great football club. And this is what the Scottish Cup is all about. This is our first competitive match, I believe, with Haddington Athletic. And I'm very much looking forward to the Vale going away and seeing if we can get through the round. We should talk about the consequences of going through, which is Brecon would be the team that we face. A super hard test for us or Haddington. Whoever goes through, a tough old test, even though the form is probably dropped off from what people expected. They are sitting third on the table as it is, a few points off the top, more than a few points off the top. But I think there was a lot of expectations.
Yeah, I think
Beacon to do really well this season.
The weight of those expectations have maybe started to come down on the boys at Brecon a little bit. If we are, I don't like the phrase lucky enough to get through. I think if we can go down and give Haddington a good game, then we stand every chance of making it into the second round proper. Away to Brecon, yes, a hell of a tough test, obviously, but based on what we saw, when we had them up here, particularly that second half, I think at that stage of the season we were still kind of feeling our way into it. The boys still getting to know each other a wee bit, and it was that kind of story of the first bit of the season was kind of taking that first 45 minutes to warm up. If you base that on the second half, I think we can go down to Brecon and be very confident of, it might be classed as pulling off a bit of a shock, but we'll take it. I think going in as underdogs potentially as well, we would have every confidence of coming away with the result there. But we can't look ahead too far. That's obviously something that we hope we'll be able to do. Because Haddington will be a very tough test, and I would just echo what you said there as well, Simo. Speaking to the guys on their committees and speaking to some of the supporters before and after the game as well. Fantastic representatives of their area, as you say. We thank them kindly as well for the kind gift that they gave to the club as well. I think a good relationship, certainly, that's for sure. Hopefully we can be looking back on that at the end of a nice cup run. But a really nice bunch of people, I think, which is a good thing to say. So just on the replay, you may have noticed, everybody, that we put out a post yesterday. By the time you're watching this, we've had a couple of supporters get in touch. You're looking at organising a supporters bus for Saturday. Would be departing from Banff kind of first thing-ish on Saturday morning. So just looking to see what kind of interest levels there are from fellow supporters. So if you want to get in touch with the club, either through Facebook, Twitter or email, then we can pass that on to the guys that are looking to organise that, and they'll be able to tell you all about availability and cost and everything like that. So it adds to that spectacle of a Scottish Cup away day. And I know that there's a few supporters who've already arranged accommodation and things like that down near Edinburgh, and we thank you for your continued support, because it's not a cheap business following a football club across the country. So massive thank you to all the Vale fans for that. And we always enjoy a good Scottish Cup game on the road. So here's hoping that, as I say, we can come back with the next round in the bag.
Absolutely. See, in terms of I'll go to the first sort of game of us playing Haddington. In terms of I've read a couple of things. Obviously, I've only seen the extended highlights, so it doesn't give me the full picture in 90 minutes. A lot of people say though that we were probably we were probably the more dominant sort of team. Although Haddington were quite, they were clinical and they were forward thinking, and they obviously won their pen and stuff like that. How do you see the second round going for us? Do you see the fixture panning out?
replay.
The
Yeah,
replay, sorry, not the second round. How do you see that 90 minutes panning out for us?
It's a difficult one to predict, in all honesty, because I think you're obviously. I mean, we knew a little bit about them. Obviously, I'm sure Craig would have been doing his research into how their season's been starting, but we maybe hadn't had an up close look at them, just with the way that works. So, that maybe kind of surprise element is now out the window for both teams, I would say. Obviously we can't speculate on who's going to be fit and who's going to make the starting 11 and all that kind of stuff, but they're a big physical side, which we see a lot, from teams coming up from Central Belt area. Usually got a couple of big lads in amongst their team, but it wasn't just aggression or good in the air and things like that. They had some very, very skillful players as well, a couple of quick wingers, so we're in for a tough game. I think that's the message, but we're more than a match for that, and I think if we can go down there, get off to a good start, ideally score the first goal as well, then that gives us every opportunity to set it up for a great game for us. So difficult to predict. I mean, I've got my red tinted specs on as always, so I'm praying for a Vale victory. But being realistic, it will be a tough game, and we will. If we do come through that tie successfully, I think we can look back on that one as being quite a result of the season almost. So I think that is a very tough test, especially we were 10 seconds away from exiting the cup. That's how close it was. So, and I think on reflection, the draw was probably a fair result. So hopefully, we can just go one better. As I say, we had chances to extend that scoreline further, obviously, with Matty Wallace hitting the post after a long throw in from Ben was flicked on, I think, by Innes. Some fantastic football was played. I think that's the really important thing. It wasn't a long ball match. It wasn't just a midfield battle. Some really, really good football on show from both sides. For me, as a first half, I think you could, it's fair to say Haddington going a goal up maybe shaded that first half. Second half, apart from their goal, I don't really remember that much really that Sean and the defence had to deal with, apart from maybe kind of clearing up some of the longer balls towards the end of the game. So I think based on what I saw over the 90 minutes, we can go down there and obviously not expect the victory, but I think we've given ourselves every chance.
Very much looking forward to it. I mean, let's say we do get through. Well, we will get through. Let's see when we get through.
Touch wood.
I was hoping if we did get through, we wouldn't have to play anybody in our own league, because it's not really what you want in this club. We're going to play Brecon twice this year either way. It's
you want that away. I totally agree.
You want that away day, and it's a bit. Or you want to play a team you've never played before, like Haddington Athletic. Obviously turned out to be a great competitive fixture, a great day, and a sort of great sort of relationship between two clubs. Maybe we get a friendly or something like that on the cards or whatever. But I mean, it's a bit disappointing. I want to say they're disappointing because you get them through a round, but playing a team in your own in their league is just a bit. In my opinion.
Ideally, from a fan's perspective, because that's ultimately what the two of us are. We're not involved in the
we are just
side of the club at all. So, from a fan's perspective, I agree with you. A nice. Maybe a juicy tie away to a League Two team or something like that would have been great. And I'll be honest with you, I was watching the draw and saw Brecon come out of the hat, and then got the ping notification. Scottish Cup mentioned you in a comment. I just, I just knew that it was Brecon against Deveronvale or Haddington. So I agree. As I say, from a fan perspective, testing ourselves against teams and leagues higher up, or an East of Scotland team or a Lowland League team, something like that is obviously exciting. But from a football side of things, we know what Brecon are about now. They've made a few signings, quite a raft of signings actually since They came up and played us, so we'll have to do our homework on that. But I think having played them once, that fear factor and that kind of oh, it's breaking kind of thing is maybe out the window now. So as you say, they've had a bit of a maybe a slightly more tough run of late in the league. So yeah, I say if we are fortunate enough to get through, hey, if we can beat them, then I don't care who we're playing.
I think we've gelled. We've gelled and came on leaps and bounds since we last faced Brecon. We were very much in the shades of putting this new team, this new sort of rebuild project of ours together when we faced Brecon. We obviously opened the season playing Broda and then Brecon. It was a hard old run, and then obviously we had an away game in between that. But yeah, they're facing a Deveronvale that I think we're kind of almost settled on our best 11 or preferred 11, standing out. Players that are starting to stand out. I think Ennis is a player that's standing out. Obviously, Brodick is a player that's now. Dane is obviously so important for us, and getting his big goals and young thing. Name escapes me. Sam Robertson. I spot my podcast sponsor is a great talent as well. I mean, I think but I don't think Craig will be. I don't think he'll care about it's not a great away date or anything. He'll just be looking at it and probably thinking, he'll just probably thinking about, can we go over the line? Probably, if on the right day and if a couple of things go our way.
100%. I mean, it's as I say, now that we've had the fixture against them, we weren't planning on seeing them again until near enough Christmas time, I think it is. We go down there, so yeah, popping this one in the middle of all that. As I say, if we can't look too far ahead. We're not talking about round two too much just yet. But if it is our name on that fixture list, then it's not a scary tie. It might have been 3-4 months ago when we hadn't seen them in action. We didn't really know what to expect, possibly. And I don't mean from a Vale kind of football side of things, but from a fan's perspective, maybe didn't know too much of what they were going to look like. They had obviously the change in management, Craig Levine coming in, that added this kind of celebrity status to it as well. But now that we've seen them in action, I think we can have every opportunity. And I'm going to do a wee shout out to our friends over at the Press and Journal who are putting together the Highland League Weekly Show. Seeing extended highlights of some of their games through that is very, very handy as well. So I don't think we've got much to fear if we are rubber stamping our place in the second round this Saturday.
Of course, we only speculate. We've got big old job in front of us. Hopefully we can go over the line. I hope that all the travelling support very much enjoy their day out. We obviously appreciate your support. And again, we appreciate the support on people watching Valecast. It's crazy to hunt for a team in the 5th tier of the Highland League, and to start a show and then already immediately have 100 people watching every week is very warming to us, and we really do appreciate the support. So thank you. But again, this show is brought to you every week by Motive. We will see you on the next one. We will hopefully talking about how we've just got through to the second round of the Scottish Cup.
Come on.
Cheerio, bye.